कैसे हैं आप लोग? I welcome you all in my YouTube channel Coding by Fun, and let's get started. So in this question, the nth node from the end of the linked list, we have to find it, right? So let's see the problem first. Given a linked list consisting of L nodes and a given number n, and the task is to find the nth node from the end of the linked list. So let's see the input. Let's say n is 2, so we have to find the second number from the end. So second number is 8 from the end of the linked list, right? Let's see the second input. We have n is equals to 5, and as you can see, the size of linked list is less than this number. That is, there are only 4 inputs or nodes in the linked list, and they are asking for the 5th number from the end, which is not possible. So that's why we are giving output of -1. So what we have to do in this task, to complete the function get nth from the last, which takes the argument of reference to head and end. So we have given head and n as the number, and we have to return -1 in if the n is larger than the size of it. So they have also mentioned the time complexity required, that is order of n, and space complexity required, that is order of 1, and this is the constraint. So there are multiple methods to solve it, but due to the constraint of time complexity, there is only one method to solve it in order of n. But if we talk about the number of methods to solve this problem of finding the nth node from the end of linked list, the first is let me show you a picture. So let's say this is the linked list we have. Now let's say they have given n is equals to 2, and we have to find the second from the end of linked list, that is 7, right? So what we can do, if we are initially at this position, the head is pointing to this 15, then what we can do, we can traverse up to the n-1. How many members are here, that we have to find. So when the head is pointing to 15, I can take another variable that is pointing to heads next, that is, let's say, a temporary variable. Now we will traverse that temporary variable up to the end. So it will count the number of nodes it has until it comes to a null point, or it points to null. So it will count 1, 2, 3 and 4, and n is equals to 2. So if count is greater than the n, we will just move the head. Now head will point to 30. Now again we start temporary variable from 6. So 1, 2, 3. 3 is greater than 2. Now we will move head here to 6. Now temp will start from here, 1 and 2. Now 2 is equals to 2. So we can print directly heads next data. So this is the first method to find the nth node from the end of linked list. But what the time complexity is greater than n, that is order of n square, because every time when we are at position this, we have to traverse the entire list. When we are here at 30, we have to traverse the entire list. So it is n times we are traversing the list, and every time there is n-1, n-2, n-3 number elements are there. So the overall time complexity order of n square. So this was the first method to start with, that is order of n square. But to come to the optimized way, we have other methods to solve it. So what we can do, the second method that is optimized, is what? First we have to find the length of the linked list. So to find the length of a linked list, just traverse a variable up to the end and just increment the count. So let's say we have a head pointing to initial value 15. We have initially the count is 0. Then we will increment the count plus, and we will move head to the next. Head is equals to head of next. Now we will again increment the count, and then again head move. So when head next will be none, we will just leave, and we can return the count. That count will be the length of the linked list. Now let's say we have a count is equals to 1 2 3 4 5, right? Now what we have to do, we have to print the second element from the last of the name, that is 7, right? So we have 5 is the length of linked list, we have to print the second. So just print or just go up to the node 5 minus 2 plus 1, that is 5 minus 2 is 3 plus 1 4th. So first, second, third, fourth. So fourth node will be the output. So this is the second method that will give you the output in order of n time complexity. But what's the problem here? You are traversing the entire linked list twice. So the interviewer may ask you to find the solution in just one traverse of the entire linked list. So here what we are doing, we are finding the length of the linked list using by traversing the entire linked list one time, and then again we are traversing to find out the nth node from the entire linked list. So I have another method. Let me show you that picture. So this is the list we have. So now we are initially at first node, initially at node 1, that is our head initially, let's say node 1, and we have another temporary variable, let's say it's node 2. Now let's say we have to find the second from the end of linked list, so that will be 6. So what we will do, it's second number from the end of the linked list, we will traverse a number twice from the front. So it's a second number, so we will traverse node 2 two times, right? So node 2 will be here and node 1 is here now. Now every time you will traverse every node one time. So node 2 will be here, then node 1 will be here, then node 2 will be here, node 1 will be here, and node 2 will be here, node 1 here, and similarly when node 2 will point to null, our node 1 will be here, and you can simply say this is the nth node from the end of the linked list. So this is the optimized way, and using one traversal you are finding the the node from the end of linked list. So it might seem typical. You can try using pen and paper by your own, and let's move to the code part. So what we have to do, they have given a head, so let's make a temporary variable. Let's say it is temp, right? It is pointing initially to head, and what we will do, we will traverse up to any step from front. So let me use a while loop, I less than n, I plus plus. So temp will be equal to temp of next, right? Now temp is pointing to the nth node from the front. Now we have to traverse both the temp and the head node each time. So for int I equals to 0, I less than, we can use while loop here, that while we will use, and temp is not pointing to null, up to which we have to forward both head is equals to head of next as well as temp is equals to temp of next. Alright, so at the time when temp will reach to the null point, at the time head will be pointing to the nth node from the end of the linked list. So we can simply, so this is a function, we have to return the data, so we can simply return the head data. Now this is the solution, but you have seen that one condition, like if n is greater than the size of the linked list, then we have to return -1 in that case. So what we have to do, in this case we should know the length of the linked list, and for that what we can, so here when we are traversing our temporary variable initially up to the nth node from the front, right? So as you can see this example, we have to find the fifth node from the end. So what we are doing here, we are traversing the temporary variable up to the fifth node from the front. So when we traverse our temporary node, this is the first, second, third, fourth, and there is no any fifth node, right? So we can put a condition here. So for that we have to make it inside a block, and we can put a condition if temp will point to the null, then we can simply return here -1. This is the end of the loop. Otherwise it will continue and our code will be fine. Now let's compile and run. So when we are compiling, let's see our code is passing the temporary the sample. Yes, so here 9 inputs are there, and we have to find the second node from the end of the linked list, that is 8, and our output is 8. So let's submit it. Now we are submitting it, and let's see we are passing all the test cases or not. So here let's see, our input is 5 and we have to find the fifth node, first, second, third, fourth, fifth from the end. So fifth will be 23, and we are getting -1 as an output. So why so? Let's see that at the time when temp this for loop will start at 0, temp is equal to temp of next. Temp is pointing to head initially. So yes, so we have to write here when temp next. Let's see one more time. So every time when we are moving one step ahead, we are checking that temp is equals to null or not. So when the time we will reach here the fifth, and temp will be equals to temp of next, that is temp is pointing to the null, then we are checking. So this is the mistake we have done here. We will check first that temp is equals to null or not. I think you may get the error. What we are doing, like we are checking that thing after we are incrementing the temp. So at that time the temp will already pointing to the null. So first we have to check that temp is pointing to null or not, then we will increment it. So at the time, when we will reach to the fifth element, as there was when we was running, they are showing the example. So in that case we have 5 elements and we have to find the fifth element. So at the time we will reach the fifth element, we will check is it null? No. So we will move, and temp will now pointing to temp of next, that is temp will point to the null at that time, right? So we will come out of the loop. So this is true now. So let's compile it. Yes, it is passing the sample input, and let's submit it to check it is passing the other test cases or not. Yes, we have successfully submitted and our code is correct. So that's what the optimized way to solve it. And one more tip for you guys, whenever interviewer you ask about this type of questions, like to find the end node from end of linked list or any question, just start with the highest complexity, that is start with order of n square solution. Because when you start with order of n square, he will ask you to optimize it, and if you already knew the solution, the optimized way to solve it, then you will come to the optimized way later on. So it will that will be impressive for the interviewer, like you are optimizing the solution, and that's a good way to start. If you directly will speak or come to the optimized solution, then he might think that you have already solved this question earlier. So whenever you are facing interview, just go like in order of n square, then try to put that solution in order of n log n, and then come to the order of n solution. This is the right way to express your solution to an interview. So see you in next video. Bye bye.